and we're taking a look through the real sequels. The Star Wars series that happens after Episode 6 in the books and novels, and sometimes comics.
Yes, we'll be starting with the Thrawn trilogy, which is the first set of expanded universe novels that was released.
So today we're going to be looking at Chapter 2 of Heir to the Empire, and we open up on a Coruscant evening, just as the sun is about to set, and of course a young Luke Skywalker is staring off into the sunset, never his mind on where he is or what he is doing.
Is that how it starts in the comic?
Seems to be. Yeah, it literally is, but it's like, the comic is very condensed.
Yeah.
It literally, I don't even think Ben speaks in the comic.
What?
Let's double check.
Okay.
Yeah, so it literally, Ben doesn't speak before Luke then says, "Why do you have to leave?"
Wow. Because like...
Oh, actually, he doesn't actually speak at all. Yeah, oh my goodness. Because they have an awesome scene.
Yeah. Because like, in the novel, it starts off with Luke, and he's dreaming, and he's on Tatooine, and Ben appears, and they're chatting for a wee bit. Like, in universe, it's been 5 years since the Episode 6 and the Battle of Endor and stuff. So the way it's described in the book, it's like this is the first time that Luke has talked to Ben since Episode 6, like since the original trilogy, and basically Ben has come in a dream, and he's saying like, you know, this is the only way that I can come to you now and meet with you. I've come to say goodbye. Like, it's a big sort of scene where basically Ben is saying, you know, Luke, like, you have a lot of potential, but you still have stuff to learn, and yes, the Emperor is gone, but the dark side is still there. You know, you have to be careful and all this stuff. And Luke's like, no, Ben, like, don't go. Like, I don't, Luke doesn't want Ben to go, and Ben says, no, I have lingered for too long, you know, I must leave, and so Ben sort of turns away. I want to get the actual quote.
Oh yeah, that's a stunning quote.
Yeah. So Ben turned, and his image like faded, and Luke knew he was gone. So Luke, still dreaming, like sort of says to himself, "Then I am alone," he told himself. "I am the last of the Jedi." And he seemed to hear Ben's voice, faint and indistinct, as if it were from a great distance. "Not the last of the old Jedi, Luke. The first of the new."
Oh.
Like, it's...
Chills. So good, nerdgasm.
Yeah. So now to go on an hour rant about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, no, fantastic. So
Yeah.
good.
You know, it's setting up where Luke is at the moment, because then Luke obviously wakes up, and he's not, you know, he was dreaming about Tatooine, but he's on Coruscant, he's in the Imperial Palace, and he looks out, you know, he goes out to the balcony, and he makes himself a cup of hot chocolate, and is sitting there, like, staring out over the Coruscant night sky.
See, you can't get green titty milk on Coruscant.
Yeah.
Like, damn it. Fine, I'll just have a hot cocoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you go down to the lower levels, you might be able to get that kind of thing.
1313.
Yeah.
one sea lion titty milk, please.
Yeah.
Extra gristle.
Yeah. So yeah, like, Luke's looking out over Coruscant and kind of, you know, mulling over all the stuff that he's been feeling. Like, he's been having, like, bad dreams for the past few weeks, and then 3PO comes in and, like, checks up on him, and it turns out Leia sensed Luke was, like, upset about something, so she sent 3PO to, like, check on him, and Luke has a wee, like, conversation with 3PO and saying, yeah, no, I'm fine, you can tell Leia I'm fine, and he's sort of saying, well, 3PO, I think you might have delivered Ben's final, like, lesson to me, that governments, they're all made up of people, you know, and you can't forget about the individual person or the individual droid kind of thing. And it just shows where Luke is at, and this is like, this is Luke's path. He's not going to be focusing on New Republic, like galactic order and like high level stuff. He's gonna be focusing on low level, like individual things, you know, and that's him. And it's sort of, you can see how that's where he's gonna go with like the Jedi Order, and because you're gonna have to start with like individual people with that, you know. Yeah,
because he wants to start off Coruscant. He doesn't want to repeat the kind of the old mistake of, you know, being one with the Republic, you know, because then you're then at the mercy with all the, you know, Darth Sidious and the way the old Republic was. So yeah, so he's like kind of wanting to move off world and that separation of church and state, as it were, kind of thing. Yeah, they're trying to focus on the people rather than focus on that whole galactic cluster.
Yeah, and it's a great segue because you have, you know, Leia sensing that Luke's upset and sending 3PO. So the scene with Leia starts with 3PO like just walking away, obviously having given her Luke's message that Luke was just telling him about, and now we get Leia, and Leia explaining where she is. She's pregnant. She's like 3 months pregnant, I think, at this stage, and yeah, she's feeling like the pressure of trying to set up a new galactic government, you know. And it's we also get introduced to Winter. Winter is another survivor of Alderaan, and Leia and Winter actually grew up together in the palace, so they know each other from that time. And Winter is described as this like tall woman with like bleach white hair and with an incredible memory, basically eidetic memory, or she's described as being able to remember any conversation she has with anyone. So, you know, basically perfect recall. But yeah, Winter is working as like an assistant to Leia, because Leia is the only one in the rebellion command structure that has any actual formal political training, and knows like the theory and the practicalities behind working as a senator and working and how a government runs and stuff, because she was a senator from she was a teenager. So without her, this very fragile new republic would be at risk of being completely wiped out.
Which is exactly what you need from a sequel series. You need the amount of sass that Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, can put on. Her just kicking ass
and chewing bubblegum.
And chewing bubblegum. Like, episode 4, she was all out of gum.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
It was just fantastic. No, but imagine like the whole the whole Galactic Republic. Her sass is the linchpin.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, and it's what every good Star Wars story needs. Politics. You know?
Walking and talking, sitting and talking, standing and talking. Love it.
Yeah, hovering and talking.
Hovering and talking on a dog bed.
Yeah, so it sets up, that's where Leia has to be, and you know, it shows as well, like, her beginning to use like the Force and trying to learn that, and she's still very at the very beginning of her training with that, but it just shows like the complete different directions that Luke and Leia are gonna have to take. Like, Luke is gonna be focused on like the individual and rebuilding the Jedi Order and being the first of the new Jedi, as Ben said to him. But then Leia is like, my expertise, like I have this potential with the Force, but my expertise is in government and like all the stuff that's involved with how a government runs. So it's like that's where I'm needed. Mm-hmm. You know, I need to be at this upper level, like overarching kind of galaxy spanning type of stuff. Again, it just sets up this is going to be the two paths that they go down. Mm-hmm. You know, and two very separate paths, two very different paths, but it's where they're needed.
Yeah.
You know, that scene kind of ends with like Leia like missing Han because Han has went off, and that again it's just a nice segue into the next part where we finish off the chapter with Han Solo, and he's off on Tatooine. Basically, Han's on Tatooine because the New Republic is trying to recruit smugglers because they're lacking in like ships and experienced pilots for transporting cargo, and they're trying to get, because they're a new government, they're trying to get like galactic trade going again. So Han has been asked to go and talk to like the smugglers and try and offer them like just legitimate work of transporting goods
They're
between
like,
planets.
nah, no thanks. Only scumbag work for me, please.
But, like, basically, yeah, because like the old smuggler contact that meets with Han and Chewie in Mos Eisley Cantina on Tatooine, he's like, yeah, Solo, you've gone respectable, you know. And
But to be fair, I mean, he did go off, marry a princess, like start a family, become a general.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, and that's exactly the old, like, his smuggler contact just like lists off all those things as like, you know, so why you've been out of the game too long, Solo, you know, you don't know what it's like. You know, it's money and excitement that fuels smugglers. So it's kind of like a bit of like
The truckers of the universe, it just doesn't quite translate.
yeah. You know, a trucker, does your dad like excitement and money?
That's all trucking is, Tim. Is excitement in doing wheelies.
I would love to see like a 18-wheeler do a wheelie.
Well, here's one now.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can add one in.
Yeah. It's just gonna be a picture of your dad right now, isn't it? Like,
Maybe.
but yeah, the scene kind of ends, or this chapter basically ends with the smuggler contact saying to Han, you know, I'll let everyone else know, but you know, I wouldn't hold your breath for anyone taking up this kind of offer. And Han, as like the last sort of thing, like asks him, you know, who's taken over from Jabba since Jabba was taken out, who's taken over Jabba's operation, and the guy says it's someone called Talon Card, and yeah, that's
a segue into next week's video.
Well, yes, but yeah, like I loved this chapter because it just does such a good job of setting up where all the familiar characters are. Like, we've seen where the Empire is, so now we know in this chapter where the rebellion is. They're now the New Republic. Leia's pregnant. Luke is, you know, on his own, trying to figure out how to be a Jedi. Han's off, you know, doing a typical Han Solo thing.
Well, yeah, and also trying to like deal with an identity crisis, really, because he's no longer a general. He's no longer a smuggler, and it's kind of, well, where is he? You know, he's, you know.
Yeah. Who is he? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like that's...
Leia's just balancing literally the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good, exciting start.
Yeah, and like the whole way through this chapter, it sprinkles wee like mentions of these rumors that there's some tactical genius in the Empire now, and they're giving the New Republic trouble and all this kind of stuff. Like a couple of different people mention it at times. So it's like, you know, and obviously we've just seen Thrawn. We, the readers, know that it's Thrawn, and we know what's coming. You know, it's just, again, we like hints of here's what's gonna come. You know, looking at what we got in the sequels, we don't know how big the New Republic was. We don't know how big the First Order was. We don't know where they controlled, how much of a threat they were, what people thought of them. You know, we see the First Order blow up 5 planets and then face no repercussions. But then in Episode 9, the entire First Order, like galaxy-wide, is taken out, like across the you know, just by these random ships that Lando has.
And Ewoks tossing a giant log over Endor at that one Star Destroyer that got out.
Yeah, well, toss one of your logs, maybe.
Captain's log.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only... Episode 9's the only real Star Wars that you need to buy a companion gag to understand the main plot of the movie. Yeah.
It's the only Star Wars movie that continued to be written after the movie was released.
Via tweets.
Yes.
Well, that about wraps up this video. Feel free to give us a like or subscribe, and comments are always appreciated.
We'll try to read them.
See you next time.
Bye.